I am so excited for today because I have Natasha and Dean here today joining me. You want to say hi, guys?
Hi.
Hi.
I am so pumped because I absolutely love Natasha. Let's start there. And automatically, if Natasha loves Dean, I love Dean now too. Hello.
How that works. Okay.
That's how it works. That's how it And so I really wanted to bring them both in. Natasha was here a few months ago, just her, and so many people loved it. It resonated with them. It was inspiring. And now I'm bringing her boyfriend here today too. They've been together for just 1 year already. And I'm like, yes, we have to celebrate this and talk about it. And I love having Dean here too, just like hearing from a guy's perspective. And so, like, how Natasha showed up differently in her love life, how she navigated that, and how Dean responded to it. And this truly, you guys, lean into this conversation, understand that Natasha was in your shoes, and this is where she is now. So, like, tell us, how are you now, Natasha? I'm assuming you're happy because you look so happy.
I'm great. I mean, so like the last conversation that we had, I said, I'm so at peace. And I think that's where I've been getting it all wrong in the past. And I'm pretty sure other women are as well. I think you need to meet someone that makes your soul peaceful, happy, and calm. And yeah, I don't have to worry. Like, this is my life partner, and there's no anxiety, there's no stress, there's no worry. It's just, yeah, fun.
Okay, I first of all, I got chills when you were just saying that, like goosebumps. You guys understand. You're hearing crazy love or nothing, and my crazy stands for not toxic. I know you guys are like, I love toxic. I was like, no, no. We're looking for the love that's completely real, where you can be completely real and authentically, zenfully you. And I love, love, love that you're speaking to that, Natasha. You're like, I feel calm. I don't feel anxious. Dean, how are you feeling? Like, do you feel that way too, or how are you feeling?
Yeah, honestly, absolutely. So despite the fact that I didn't know you'd named it, it's that's exactly what we have. It's always just been us being ourselves. There's never been any worry, concern, anxiety, none of that, which honestly is a change from things I've, previous experiences I know we've both had, and I'm sure plenty of people that watch this have had.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you find the person you're aligned with, if you've got the right things going, then it stops being a show. It stops being you can just be you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, and that makes it work. That makes it so just real, so natural, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. I absolutely love that. And I say that all the time too. I'm like, it only feels hard when you're trying to make it work with the
Mhm.
wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love this because it's like evidence because like Will and I have been living this and feeling that peace and like best friend vibes, and you can
Yep.
just be yourself, silly, quirky, weird, like whatever it is, and you're absolutely loved and you don't have to worry. And so I'm like, everyone listen to this. It's more evidence for your brain. This exists, and do not settle. I want to talk to you guys about anxiety a little bit because I feel like that's something that I know I used to always feel before Will. And so like talk to me, Natasha, in terms of when you did the program and you were like trying to take your love life into your own hands, and how, you doing it this way, using the dating method and kind of leaning into a different way. Did it help with your anxiety? How did you navigate that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I've been in therapy, I was, after my ex, he completely destroyed me, and I just kind of, wanted to do something different. I wanted to find my person. So it's like, why, am I adding this plus this and it's not equaling what I want? So yeah, I was in therapy, did a lot of inner work, was single for 6 months, and then I had a situationship, which proved to me that I had more work to do. And then I was just kind of like, right, okay, I've built up my self-worth. I don't want to be put in a situationship again where that's going to diminish my self-worth. I can choose what I tolerate, what I allow, and I have to honor that in order to honor myself. So I think for me, it helps getting clear on what I brought to the table, what I want in a partner, and also what my life goals are. So what am I looking for in terms of alignment with another partner? So yeah, I just kind of focused on that, and I was never going to give up. And I think you need to get to a place where you're happy to be alone, you're happy to be a single person, before you start looking for that life partner. Because if you're not okay with being alone, then you're just going to be looking at someone for codependency, for example, and you're just going to get triggered by those old patterns. So yeah, I think that was important. I think once you know your worth, then there's going to be no anxiety. And actually, I was saying no to a lot of guys. So after that situationship, I was talking to a lot of guys on the dating apps. I was mainly using Hinge. And you know, I'd be having those conversations. I'd be getting out all of the questions of what I'm looking for straight up in the first 24 hours.
Yes.
And I would be, yeah. And I would just be, if something just wasn't aligned, and not necessarily physical attributes, but the values, the personality traits, anything that came up as a red flag or was a red flag for me, then I'd be like, no, on to the next one. And I said no to a lot of guys before I met Dean.
Yeah, I love that. And so like you said some few things that I want to like definitely lean into, make sure that everyone caught that. Like number one, you need to be happy on your own. And like I feel like this is where I feel like a lot of people kind of make these missteps, right? Where they like think that someone's going to make you happy and fulfill you. And that's why I'm not for, oh, like they complete you. Like I'm not in that train of thought at all. I'm all about you being so self-fulfilled, so happy on your own. You don't need anyone. It's more about wanting to find that partner that adds value to your life. You add value to their life, and you're like a team, just doing life together. And so I like love working with you too, Natasha, because you have such a growth mindset. I love that you're willing to be called out because, you know, I'm like a tough love, no bullshit kind of person. And I love that you were like all in, like just about challenging yourself, like having that awareness, not, you know, you weren't doing the whole like, poor me, oh, like you were like, wait, what the hell's going on? I'm open to do things a different way. And you leaned into it so fearlessly, which I think this is where that's like that secret sauce. Like people need to lean into the unwavering faith that it exists, it is coming, that like right partner. So you can fearlessly say bye-bye. I don't know if Dean knows my bye-bye, but the bye-bye is important.
Yes, he
And you
does.
have to say the bye-bye to all the guys, all the people that aren't aligned, because then like you got to move them out of the way to make space to receive Dean. Like I love that you did that. Dean, like how was it for you in terms of like when your path crossed Natasha and she's like asking questions and she's being intentional and all that?
Honestly, it was refreshing, because more often than not, it's all just sort of a bit wishy-washy, a bit, oh, we're just chatting, oh, we're seeing where this goes. And it takes a lot just to find out if you're actually compatible. Which, to be fair, I was approaching things. I was probably coming on a little strong in other chats myself, where it would just be, what do you actually want then? What's the point of this if we're not shooting in the same direction here? And when Natasha came along and was off the bat asking the important questions, I really responded to that. It was clear that she knew what she wanted, and it makes it so much easier. I am all about let's be verbose, let's be clear, let's not play the games, let's just say what we both want, and if it's the same thing, then great, let's do it together.
I love that.
That's all you need. Keep it direct, keep it just simple, no ambiguity, and that's what I got.
Yeah, I love it. And this is like I always say this, and people, it's hard for them to really embrace it. And this is why I love these kind of conversations. So they're listening and like, oh wait, this is true. This does work. You can only scare away the wrong guy or the wrong person. And so like I love, right before I met Will, I was like intentional AF. I'm like, this is who I am. And like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. And I was like, I just need to be authentic. And I feel like, Natasha, you leaned into that really fearlessly. And the right person, Dean, came around, and you guys, I feel like this is part of it. And tell me if this is true. But when you're so open and direct and authentic, it makes space for him to also show up openly and authentic and vulnerable. And then the emotional connection can happen. Like, did that happen for you guys in terms of like, was there a quick emotional connection with you two?
Yeah, I think so. Literally down to just, well, even just chatting, but especially on first date and the stuff we were sharing, and genuinely it makes it so much easier when you can just both be honest and share. And it's getting away from all of the, you have to pretend, you have to play it cool, you have to be this. No, you don't. You really don't.
So you didn't wait, Dean. You didn't wait 3 days to call her, la la la. You were like calling her right away, hey, or asking her on the second date, on the first date. I don't know.
No, no, none of that.
That's what I loved about him. He
Yeah.
just wasn't into these game playing, which I'd gotten myself into. The modern dating world, especially, is very much like, okay, you have to wait 3 days, and it has to be the guy to contact, not the girl. And it was just so confusing.
Yes.
No wonder, like, it breeds anxiety.
Totally.
And actually, you could let someone go for being too cool. Someone's just going to walk away because you're being too cool.
Yeah.
So I think if you lay your cards on the table, yeah, and you have enough self-awareness and also awareness of the other person, intuition is very important. Like having that gut instinct as well. You need to really hone in on that, so that because guys will say a lot of things. Like the situationship was very much like, oh, I'm looking for the same things you are, but actually he was looking just to get his leg over.
Right. Leg over, for anyone that's not British, is that a British thing? Is that like sex? Is that what that is? I don't leg over.
Yeah, so yeah, that's Love is Blind UK for you, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And actually, on that note, exactly, I'm very big on, I have some rules. Well, one in particular specific, not to rush the physical intimacy. Okay, so Natasha, you followed the rules with that? You were like thinking if you're emotionally aligned, and when did the first kiss? Let's back it up. When was the first kiss? First kiss is okay. First date?
First kiss was first date.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's important. And how did you guys feel? Did you feel like there was chemistry?
Yeah, I thought it was really sweet. I mean, I'm someone that tends to go in for more. So I think he was very reserved and very sweet. And that made me go, what's going on here? Because usually it's, so I think, I was quite taken aback by that. And I was like, this guy's different.
Hey, okay, can we talk about that? Because I remember now you reminded me of that conversation we had. Can we talk about that? Was actually a good conversation you and I had about the kiss. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, if you want more, because I remember literally my first kiss with Will, he was like, mine was like more innocent and held back, and he was like tongue trying. I'm like, what are you doing here? What's happening? And he's like, let's try that again. Like he literally was like, let's try it this way. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try it that way. So I remember giving you that advice, like, hey, did you try it a different, like try communicating that? How did that go? Like,
I mean, it was quite nerve-wracking because I think talking about personal and emotional things we were very good at, but I think the physical side of things we were a little bit more reserved about. So for me to then ask about something physical, I did ask, and we got more tongue. So
yes.
And now he's like, whenever I'm not using my tongue, he's like, well, where's your tongue?
Yeah, what are you doing?
But I absolutely love that. And you know what's interesting too is that sometimes people find it very easy to have that physical intimacy sooner than the emotional. And like, I love this conversation so much because I want people to start leaning into the emotional connection, like putting your heart on your sleeve, trying to go there instead of like, oh, the physical's there. And then what ends up happening is that the blinders come on and you don't like realize, oh my God, this person's not aligned to me. Like, I love that you guys were so intentional. You had that emotional connection. And, you know, I feel like maybe you're coming from a place of, I don't know, maybe it's a culture thing because I'm Latina, you know, like us Latins, like just say, well, like we're very loud. But I feel like, you know, the physical stuff is important. But I love that you guys went down the route of emotional connection first. Do you guys feel like that was something that was, you know, strengthened your bonds together before doing, you know, before the physical came in? Was that like something that helped you to kind of just get to where you are right now, doing that intentionally?
Yeah, I mean, I was quite quick in the past to sleep with partners. And I think Dean wasn't. So it was kind of more his thing than my thing. But also along with your advice, I kind of followed that route. And yeah, I think it did bring us closer together because, you know, it felt like, you know, if say we had mediocre or bad sex, that we'd be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go straight in for that and oh it's bad, it's like, you know what, I'm never seeing him again, I'm not calling him back.
Right, right.
Because we've had the emotion, I mean, it's great, by the way.
I was
just
gonna,
to say,
I was going to say, do you need to tell
there's
me something?
there's no issues whatsoever.
Okay, I'm so glad. I was like, well, wait a second, guys. It's busy now, right?
no, it's perfect. But it all,
Okay. I love
yeah,
it. You
I
guys
mean,
who's not watching on YouTube, if you're listening to it on Spotify, you gotta see Dean's face throughout this conversation. He's like, yes, like nodding his head.
no, I am not left disappointed, let's just say.
So cute. You guys are so freaking cute. I can't stand it. I just can't. I can't. I'm going to London. We're going on a double date. This is all happening. But anyway, just throwing that out there. Natasha, you were saying you're finishing a thought, I think.
Yeah, it actually means that further along, because we've made, you know, we've built that foundation that we can kind of handle anything, and because we've started off quite authentic, open and honest and vulnerable with each other, we can talk about anything, including embarrassing sex related things, not that there is any, but yeah. Yeah, to be honest, like in the bedroom, it's actually made it a deeper connection. I think we're completely and utterly connected, more so than I've been with any partner. So
I love that. Yes, and as it should be, and of course it is. I love this. How is your families and friends? Like, because I always say that to people. It's super important to see how you guys vibe with the people that are significant to you. So, like, how long did you wait before you guys introduced each other to the friends and stuff and family?
we met your sister first.
Yes.
And that was what? Was that December or was that January?
No,
that was January.
That was the new year.
Yeah.
And then it was
so about 5 months, 4 to 5
Okay.
months.
and then
Okay.
shortly after that we
And
met
then it's probably 5 to
your
6
family,
months,
yeah.
my family.
When did you say I love you? When did you know you loved each other?
You know the date.
Does he?
Do I actually know the date? I want to say we said it on Feb 11th.
It was quite late.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
was...
so is there a reason for that? Like, did you feel like you already loved her, but you didn't say it out loud?
God. Absolutely. It was countless times of I nearly said it. Like multiple times of like the moment's perfect, it just wouldn't come out and I have to change what I'm about to say. And it just got to a point where it was like, no, this is ridiculous now. Like,
yeah, we were kind of saying, oh, I love that about you. I love it when you do this. Yeah, and it was just kind of like,
wherever you can use the word love, stick it in, see what happens. If she's not recoiling yet, it's fine.
Well, and I actually want to know about that, because was there fear, or was it like you know, I wonder, because you guys were so intentional, so aligned. So it seems like, you know, pretty fearless, but still you were a little bit cautious with saying the word. So
there's always going to be nerves there. It's always a step, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a serious step. You're right. It's a serious step.
As much as I was 99% sure that she would say it back and that she was feeling it too, there's still something there that's like, what if she tells me no? What if all of this falls apart? No. But yeah, no, eventually I manned up and did it.
Oh, I love it. And Natasha, how did you respond? You're like, no, or like, okay.
I was like, oh my God, I love you too. I've wanted to say it for ages. I almost slipped up the other week.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking cute. I'm obsessed. You guys travel. I know that, which I love because that's really important to, I feel like I always tell people write a list. That's part of what I do with all my clients. And, there are people who don't like to travel, and I love that you guys are traveling the world together. So was that one of the things on your list? And Dean, did you have a list, Dean? Dean, or you did?
I mean, I'd always wanted to travel a bit, but it's more of a I'd kind of resound myself to I'm probably not going to. You know, I didn't really have a travel partner. None of my friends were really that interested in seeing the world, and I was like, well, if I don't, I don't. Um, so I kind of almost given up on the notion of seeing a lot of the world, to be completely honest.
Wow.
But yeah, then I came across the best travel partner I could have ever imagined, and
Oh my, I'm like goosebumps. I can't stand it. Like all my hair is like standing up. You guys are so freaking cute. And like, I love that, Natasha, that you came into his world and like added value. I literally always say that to people. It's like all about helping you shine brighter in the world.
Mhm.
Dean had this little desire to go travel, and you were like, I guess it's not gonna happen. And boom, enter love of your life.
yeah.
So freaking cute. Okay, so you guys are in London now. You guys, so what are like the plans? Are you guys like living separately, living together? What's happening?
So we always said that, I mean, we spend about half the week with each other, at each other's places. And I think we've always been talking about moving in together. It was just a natural progression.
Yeah.
But we said we're not going to be one of these people that rushes into things. So we're going to make sure we've got to a year,
Yeah.
had our anniversary, and then we can start discussing it. So it's kind of sped up in the last couple of weeks, which in 2 weeks' time he will be moving in with me. So yeah.
I like love this. I'm so excited. You don't understand how much fun it is. Like I just feel like, what you said earlier too, Dean, is like it's easy. It really is. Like when you find the right partner, it's easy, it's fun. And I want people to hear that and understand that. And like if you're if you're listening to this and you're like, oh wow, like I'm miserable, I'm in a situationship and I'm stuck, like get out. Like literally stop thinking and overthinking and being like, I guess it'll just change. If it's shit now, it will be shit forever. Like it should feel easy and fun and oh my gosh, doing life together. And so I love that you guys are gonna move in together. This is like an amazing step.
Yeah.
Any concerns, any fears, like closet size? I don't know. Like that was the first one that I came up.
I think we've discussed a lot. I think we are a very rational couple.
Yeah, it feels like it.
And we're very communicative as well. So we kind of tend to have a lot of conversations around, well, what could possibly, obviously, there's things that you won't really know until you move in, but we've kind of spoken about every single thing that could go wrong. We've even spoken about chores and, who's going to do what and who's going to do the cooking and, who's going to, because he likes to do a bit of gaming on his PC. So what's going to happen if I want to watch TV at the same time? Who's going to be wearing the headphones? We've literally spoken about every single little thing. And I just think we're going to be able to, if we do hit anything that we need to have a conversation about, we'll have the conversation.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
And it's compromise. We don't want to, the difference is compared to other partners, like I respect him, I love him, and I want him to be happy. I don't want him to be unhappy. So that also affects my happiness. So I want to make sure that we're both on the same page. There's no ego at all in this relationship. And I think in the past I've had a lot of ego.
Yes. On your part or on their part or on both?
Both.
Right.
Both.
And that's seriously, I absolutely adore this because emotional intelligence is so important. And I don't think people really realize that. I always talk about that and we have to put it on the list, right? Like someone who can communicate. And at the end of the day, like Will and I, we're celebrating 17 years married in December. And like, it's not like, oh, it's been rainbows and butterflies, but it actually really has. Like, because when we have a disagreement, Like it's never like like something, it never gets like that ever. It's like, oh, we respect each other, you communicate, you actually listen. You have to have those skills and always make each other a priority. So do you feel like do you guys feel like you're each other's priority?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dean is so you guys need to look at the YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, you have to see their face and they're so cute. Like I just can't with you guys. Like I'm obsessed. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm not sure because this is why I'm gonna ask this. Listen, I'm all about growth. People change. Who knows where you guys land on this right now? Things change. I've had couples tell me something and then it changes. What are your thoughts on marriage down the road, children down the road, pets? What what are
The
your
three
thoughts?
important things, the big three.
Yeah.
I'll let you answer.
Thanks, baby. So marriage, definitely. It's mainly a logistical reason why you're not my wife yet. You will be.
I'm obsessed. I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dead.
That's why I said he should answer.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I love this so much. I have goosebumps. I can't. I'm gonna cry. Okay, sorry, Dean. Go ahead.
Yeah, the kids, we will, as far as they are small, furry, and bark, we're down for kids.
That's amazing. Wait a second. Did you say you're down for kids?
The small, furry ones that bark.
Oh, small fairy ones. Oh, furry. Oh, I thought you said, I like the small fairy ones. I'm like, is
No,
that
no,
what
no.
they call it in London? I'm like, what? Furry. Got it.
Furry.
Got it.
Yeah, the regular ones now are good, thanks.
Oh, you're good. I get it. I get it. 100%. 100%. Well, I love that you guys are both aligned on that. I love it. I'm all for this. I'm all for your happiness. And like whatever works for your joy is it. It is it. And you guys talk about these things from the get-go because I feel like that is really important for people to hear. Were you guys talking about these kind of issues or topics from
Yeah.
early on?
Literally from day dot, it was the questions about, well, what do we both want? That was you asking about marriage and me telling you I'm on a wife hunt. That was
Wait, did you say I was on a wife hunt?
He says I'm on a wife hunt.
That was literally my response to I think
Word for word.
We were still at the messaging stage, and it was, what are your plans on marriage, or how do you feel about marriage? My response was very much, I'm on a wife hunt, not a dangerous game kind of way, but a wife hunt.
I am obsessed and I love it. And like Natasha, were you feeling like, oh my gosh, like I trust this guy, like I'm liking his vulnerability? Or because I feel like I literally had one of my clients say, this guy asked, oh, are you looking for marriage? And she kind of freaked out, was like, oh, this guy's full of shit, or he's shit. Like, for some reason it triggered her, right? And I'm like, well, I want to navigate this and tell me if you agree or not. I want people to go out into the world believing people unless they, until they have reason to not trust them. I feel like I don't want people to be like so jaded from their past, experiences and bring in their guard up and be like, everyone's fucking out to lie and shit. So I feel like when you heard that, Natasha, were you like, oh, I believe him? Or were you like, where were you on that?
100%. I think I say that your gut instinct, your intuition is so important, but if you experience a lot of trauma, that can also go the other way and you can't rely on it. So I think if you are focused on working on yourself, then you can get that skill back, because we all have it, and it's very, very helpful in situations. Obviously, there's a certain amount you can gain from an online back and forth. So I believed it in the moment in terms of through messaging, but even more so when I met him. It just was so obvious how authentic he was and how genuine he was. So I think if your intuition is shit, then you kind of need to work on that first.
Yeah.
Before you go back into dating, because you'll be making some bad decisions.
100%.
Guys can say a lot, but you need to be able to read that. from that.
100%. Like, this is where I feel like people, you know, when they connect with me, they're like, oh my God, Jack, you're like a dating coach. And just like, you know, you matchmaker too, just put the right guy in front of me. I'm like, wait, back it up. Like, back it up. Step one is knowing your worth. Let's talk about some experience that you've gone through. Have you healed? How are you feeling? All of that is so important. And I just feel like sometimes people are just skipping that step completely. And so like once you truly do that inner work and you're healed, you're feeling like, oh my gosh, all of this has happened and I've learned from it. And you can lean into your intuition, be like, oh my God, I know what it is to like date a lying sack of shit. Like I that and this doesn't feel that way. Like you start to trust yourself again and your judgment and now like this is also the power of the list. I'm always, you know, for that because it makes you consciously aware. It doesn't just like, oh, fall back to your subconscious. And sometimes you go on autopilot and you can fall into some negative, you know, awful patterns. So I think that like something I saw with you from the get-go, Natasha, that you were so adamant about growth, about staying conscious, being very aware. You're like, I know what I want. I'm going to get it. Let me make space for it. And I think this is the goal that people need to hear, need to understand. You guys met on Hinge, right?
Yeah.
Like online dating, I'm such a fan of online dating. You navigated it with intention. You asked serious questions. You scared the wrong people away. You said bye-bye to them that weren't aligned. Like you guys, it exists for you too. Like if you guys see the cuteness with these two, like I'm obsessed. Like I can't. Do you guys have any furry babies yet? Have you guys gotten a dog or anything yet?
No.
Okay.
I think because we can't actually get pets
Yeah, but we're not allowed
in our
here.
flats.
So
It's like a turtle. It's like you can get a turtle or something.
I mean, maybe. I'd rather a doggy, but we've got a family pet, so we might be doing some babysitting there.
Okay, I love it. And you're such an awesome aunt. Like I see you with your nieces, right?
I love them to pieces, but I just don't want any for myself because I can hand them back.
Yeah.
Have them and hand them back. And I think you're the same. He's got a niece and nephew as well.
I have indeed.
So we've got, you know.
We have access to kids if we need them, and then we can have them back again.
You know, I know, you know what? And I love that for you guys. It's like to each their own. I knew early on I wanted kids. So I told Will on my first date I wanted kids, and so did he. So we were aligned with that. I do have another couple, this client, she's actually coming on a podcast in October. And on her first call with me, she was like, I'm not having kids. And I'm like, okay, perfect. And now she sent me a voice message. She's madly in love. She's like, oh yeah, we're having kids. I'm like, that's why I always ask. I'm like, our kids will be awesome. The other kids suck. You never know.
I think it's easier to navigate being with someone that doesn't want kids or is on the fence. Whereas obviously if someone wants kids, then they want kids. Like there's no change in their minds. Whereas I think you can change your mind if it's a no, you can change it to a yes. It's easier to change your mind as opposed to the other way around, I think.
Dean, are you listening to that, Dean? Okay.
Yeah, potentially, but I still don't think
I think for us, our goal is our lifestyle. We like our lifestyle. You know, the reason why he's moving in is so that we can save up to buy a house. So that's our kind of like 5-year plan, is within 5 years to buy a house together. So that we can have our little furry babies running around everywhere.
I love it.
So, and I think travel is important for us. We want to do that as well. So I think if we want to do all of this in our lifetime, and I'm already I'm 36, so I haven't had that broody thing yet. I'm broody for puppies, not broody for kids. So
listen, I want you to know something. I'm not about ever, it's not pressure, and you know, people might tell you guys, because you guys are so freaking cute. Like honestly, you'll make cute babies. Like that's just, and so like as long as you know, people are gonna wait, what did Dean say?
Our babies would be awesome, but
they would be. I feel like you guys need to come to Tenerife, where I live. I feel like you guys need to hang out here, because like I do feel, and I'm not, this is not to pressure or anything. This is about abundance and having it all. And I'm big on, you know, my kids are awesome and we travel the world. Will and I make each other a priority. We're like number one in our family. We go on date nights every week. We're very intentional when we brought kids in, and we're just aligned in the way we discipline. So I do feel like, this is to serve people who are listening too, like who may want kids. And I feel like it's not about it's this or that. I feel like you can have it all. And if you don't want kids, I 100% back you up, Natasha. And no one should be pressuring anyone to have kids. But when sometimes in our head, when you've been kind of like, you have to be a certain age to have kids, you have to do this in a certain time. There's all this pressure, societal pressures that come into play. I think that one of the things that is so liberating is like when I moved to Spain, everyone's having babies in their freaking 40s, like literally. It was kind of bananas. I'm like, what? I was like the young weirdo. I'm like, what?
My cousins are like that as well. Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like anything could happen. I feel like at the end of the day, the most important thing is you two being a team. And you guys are just so beyond like respectful, loving, grateful. I feel like you guys just appreciate each other. And you guys are gonna just do the best life together. Like, I don't even know what's coming your way, but I feel like I'm so happy for you guys. I just feel the love. Like, this love is amazing. It's crazy. It's called crazy love, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming on. This has meant a lot. I feel like this is going to be so good for so many people to hear. It's going to be so inspiring. Is there anything that you want, last messages to say to the people that are hearing, that are playing the game, anything, any other words that you want to share?
Something I mentioned earlier, I think as women, especially in modern dating, we think that guys are kind of this other entity, very different from ourselves. And actually, it might be that you're just connecting with the wrong men who just want casual or just want to play around, want to be in situationships, because there are guys out there that do want to meet a life partner. And I think if you're telling yourself that, that's kind of that negative mindset, and that's almost going to be self-fulfilling.
Yeah.
You're going to be attracting that, you're putting that out into the universe.
Totally.
Like, you need to believe that there are genuine guys out there that want the same things as you, because I used to believe all of that bullshit. Oh, guys only want one thing, and guys are like this, and guys are assholes. And yeah, maybe the guys that I was dating were.
Yeah.
But actually, I've now met someone that I wouldn't ever say that. That'd be disrespectful to call him an asshole, or, he only wants one thing. So
Exactly.
I think, I know it's difficult, but maybe just have a look at who you're dating, look at your list. Don't sway from your list, obviously within reason, because if you're saying you want someone who's 6 foot,
Well,
brunette,
I insist on that. I always say this, nothing physical should be on your list. The only thing like that would be like chemistry. And I always say that. And I do feel like, one of my things I say, the aha moment that I had was, oh my God, all these assholes, all these assholes. And I'm like, well, wait a second, I'm the asshole for choosing the assholes. Like, what the fuck, what's wrong with me? Like, you got to be able to take responsibility. And like, I love that you're saying that there are men, because, I see it all the time, and I feel like people need to hear it, not just from me, but from you. And I love that Dean's on here. You guys, you see his face. He's like, so not an asshole, you guys.
kindest face ever. Yeah, such a kind face.
He is. This is a kind eyes, genuine human. Like, literally, we're gonna do like a double date on a podcast. I'll bring Will on. Well, like, it's just the cutest. Like, I just want women to see and hear this. Like, good men are out there. So start to believe it, start to say it, and you'll find confirmation of that, versus saying the negative and always looking to prove yourself right. Because that's all you will find, honestly. So that's part of like the forever work that I will do. Like, this is my mission on this earth, is like, okay. But like, I appreciate you, Natasha, so much for like just bringing your story here. You, where you were and where you are now is so inspiring. And I truly, truly love you guys for doing this and coming on and sharing your beautiful story. And Dean, you're awesome. Like, I love you. Like, I knew I would love you. I told you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, you guys. Have an amazing life. And I will I will see you in London. You know this. I go to London all the
Yes,
time.
I
Will
do.
loves London. We will be there. We'll be there. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.